What is up guys, my name is Chase, and this is the 8Bitdo Sn30 Pro Plus. This is a third-party Bluetooth controller that looks a little bit familiar. I've heard so many good things about this controller, so I finally bit the bullet, and here are my thoughts. First off, the overall build quality is very nice. This is a substantial feeling controller. Maybe not quite as hefty as the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, but pretty darn close. It's got a nice matte finish and has enough grip that it won't be slipping out of your hands. I think it's an interesting design choice that the controller has an overall shape of a Super Nintendo controller, but these handles make it way more comfortable to hold. Now in my opinion, the main reason you're buying this controller is for the D-pad. The D-pad is essentially an exact replica of the Super Nintendo. It feels ridiculously natural playing 2D games with this D-pad. I'm not the most familiar with retro games because I am what the kids call a zoomer, but at least from what I can tell, 8Bitdo did a really good job at replicating the Super Nintendo D-pad, and I can barely even tell the difference. It's the perfect amount of chunkiness to feel super satisfying when you press it. But not only did they replicate the Super Nintendo D-pad, they also replicated the Super Nintendo face buttons. Now this is something that I think will be different for different people. Personally, I am a huge fan of the giant face buttons on the Switch Pro controller, but I mean these buttons are not bad at all. They do feel pretty much exactly like the Super Nintendo face buttons. Basically, if you want to know what these buttons feel like, grab your nearest Super Nintendo controller. And finally, the triggers are also pretty nice. They're pretty satisfying analog triggers that have a good amount of travel. They move really nicely and feel nice to press on. Now actually using the controller, it works really well. Since all your buttons are here, pretty much any game can adapt nicely to the controller layout. Obviously playing the Switch Online Super Nintendo games is just awesome because of the D-pad and button layout, but since this controller also has analog sticks, I think using it for modern games works really well too. I will say though that something weird about this controller is that in order to turn it on, you have to press the start button rather than the home button. This is obviously such a tiny detail, but it does honestly throw me off anytime I use this controller since I instinctively want to press the home button to turn on my Switch. Overall, the 8Bitdo Sn30 Pro Plus is a really nice controller to have, especially if you play on Nintendo Switch. So far, this D-pad is the best option I've seen for Switch controllers, and the controller just feels comfy to hold in general. I'll leave an Amazon link for this controller in the description, but feel free to check out some of my video game reviews below. For now, thank you for watching, my name is Chase, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.